Here he comes! Here comes the racer! Dun, 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 dun. Hey guys, it's Julian here with another anime theory. Yeah, that's right, I said anime theory this time. Julian, don't you usually do a theory on an anime you've reviewed already? Yes and no. All the theories I've done up to date have all been based on series I have recently watched and happened to review. But I actually haven't seen this one. Yes, and you probably know, if you haven't guessed already, it is Speed Racer. I do love racing animes and games such as Redline and IGPX. Stay tuned for that anime review, by the way. But I actually haven't seen Speed Racer. So how the heck am I going to create a theory on it? I mean, don't I have to review it and have some kind of basis? Well, this anime theory isn't quite the same. Now, my anime theory is that Speed Racer should be rebooted. Yeah, you just watched an anime theory probably on my Spice and Wolf reboot, but this reboot is slightly different. Well, how so? Come on, you're rebooting an anime. What's quite different about it? Well, Spice and Wolf came out in 2009. Speed Racer came out, I think, in 1968, or around that time. Well, that's quite a bit of difference. Yes, don't get me wrong, there was a Speed Racer anime in 1997, there was a live action in around the 2000s, and there is something called Speed Racers Next Generation. But that last one is more of a cartoon. The live action was North American and not well received. Don't get me wrong, I actually really did enjoy that live action movie. Again, to each their own, but that was actually what got me into Speed Racer. It was such a fascinating story, and the Wachowskis did, I think, a phenomenal job on telling that story. Despite it being a box office failure, as some would say, and not doing that great. But I absolutely love it. And yeah, I could go watch the original series on Funimation. I know they're streaming like about 50 episodes, but they don't actually have the entire series of Speed Racer. Yes, they do release it all, but I haven't got my hands on it currently. So why does this anime need to be rebooted? Or should it even be rebooted? Well, I think Speed Racer is a true gem of a classic. I mean, it came out in the early 1990s, like, okay, not 1990s, but in the 1900s, in the 20th century. Now, with that being said, it's pretty much been left out of anime classics. I mean, there are some that still consider it that really top-notch great out there, but a lot of people nowadays probably have never even heard of Speed Racer. And I think that's a problem. It needs to come back. And yes, I do think there's going to be a lot of complications around right handling and getting a studio to get on board, but let's assume we get past all that. What would they tell? Well, Speed Racer probably has tons of stories to be told. I mean, obviously the number one is with Racer X, and obviously seeing Speed go up and race around the world and race into the finals, defeating his enemies with his superior speed, and when he can't quite beat his rivals, you know, he'll rise and race up to the challenge. I think that is a phenomenal and great story arc, as well as I think Speed is a great character. Don't get me wrong, Speed and Trixie are also a pretty adorable couple. I mean, I thought they were great in live action. I can only imagine that in the anime, they're just as sweet and adorable. That being said, now, I think the visuals are severely out of date. And with what visuals we can generate now in anime, I think this racing anime would look superb done in today's style. And I think it would garner a lot of attention from fans, get a whole new generation into Speed Racer, and hell, I think the merchandising could be pretty damn decent. I mean, Speed Racer has done, I think, fairly well in that merchandising space. But like I said, the live action came around 2000s, the late 2000s. And right now, currently, with Speed Racer Next Generation, it was felt more as a cartoon. I didn't quite like the style of it at all. And it just didn't quite make sense to me because, again, I wasn't quite exposed to the original Speed Racer, so when the next generation kind of came out, where it was supposed to build on top of it, it didn't quite make any sense to me. So this way, having this new reboot of an anime may actually lead into a potentially better next generation one. And come on, who doesn't want to see the Mach 6 come back? I mean, that was a freaking phenomenal looking car. Alright, so let's say if it does get rebooted. You definitely will check this channel out, and don't get me wrong, if there is any news on a reboot for this series, I will cover it first in a new theory video about what I will hope to expect from that series. But right now it doesn't quite make sense for me to expect anything, because I mean, no one's quite announced anything. This is just my video out there hoping someone will see and say, yeah, maybe we should do a reboot of Speed Racer and have it hit the big screen. I mean, well, why did I come up with this theory? Well, after watching Star Blazers, which was also an anime that aired out in the 1960s, I figured, well, why not reboot some other ones, other big classics? I mean, Astro Boy was another one that received another anime. Though it was done by a Chinese company, it still was able to be brought back, and I think next up there is Speed Racer. It is another anime classic, I think, that has kind of been lost to history right now and deserves to be back. Well, let me know in the comments below if you also agree with me or have seen Speed Racer and think that maybe I should go watch the original and do an anime review. Let me know down in the comments below. Well, that's all for this anime theory. See you guys later.